Cheers, everyone! Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we're talking about The Last of Us TV show episode 4. I've been reviewing, or kind of not really reviewing, but giving my thoughts on every episode so far, and I feel like you guys have been enjoying it. So I've really enjoyed talking about um, the show. And can we just sit back and appreciate how incredible this show is since it aired a few weeks ago and has become, even in the first 4 episodes, one of the greatest video game adaptations of all time. And there's not a lot, so I mean it's a low bar for it to be good, but it has truly become one of my favorite TV series in a very very long time. I'm not gonna say ever because we obviously haven't gotten through it yet. Stuff like Breaking Bad and other shows of that caliber. I hold in very high regards, but this so far has been incredible, and it kind of continues that momentum on with episode 4. Obviously, coming from episode 3, and I think in thinking that's one of the greatest episodes or shows, however you want to say, in television history. I absolutely loved it, and I get the criticism that it got, where it didn't really project the story forward. It didn't really carry the story on. Um, you know, Joel and Ellie needed a car, and we got an hour of like one of the greatest love stories ever to be told. And I get that people didn't really care to have a whole episode on characters that inevitably were going to die. So I get the criticism, but it's still a truly incredible episode. And we go on to this, and I knew it could not live up to expectations of the previous, and it didn't. It was the road trip episode of Joel and Ellie. We got a lot of exposition. We got a lot of bonding between them. Obviously, Joel was very standoffish at first. He even says, Ellie asks if she's family, and he just says, no, you're cargo. And by the end, she tells some jokes 2 or 3 times, 4 times during the episode, and by the end, they were both laughing out loud, and it was a great sight to see, because for the most part in the game, Joel was very very stern and doesn't smile a lot, so it was good to see him smile and so very early on in the series. I really appreciate that. That being said, this was the first episode that I was somewhat disappointed, and not in necessarily a bad way. I feel like the prior 3 episodes we got somewhat of a closure with what was happening, and this one obviously it ends with Henry and Sam being introduced, and then it ends right, and we have to wait until Friday. They are releasing the episode a couple days early to get away from the Super Bowl, which makes sense. So that obviously that's not necessarily a bad thing. That I want to see more, but I wasn't fully satisfied as an episode as a whole. Um, that being said, I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed meeting I wouldn't call them like raiders necessarily, but maybe they are. They didn't seem like they were as ruthless as some of the raiders and stuff in the game. Obviously, they try to trap. They try to trick Joel and Ellie, and Joel said that he's been on both sides of the ambush, so he saw it coming a mile away. So I enjoyed seeing that happen, and obviously the car crash. But we knew they weren't going to be in the truck for very long, and we got to see the scene of the shootout. And the Joel TV series and the Joel video game character are very different. I feel like in the game, and obviously in the game, he's going to be able to handle himself better because you're controlling him, and he's a lot more violent in the game, but he feels like he's better equipped to stay alive in that world versus in this one. He takes out the one guy, the two guys really, and then the third person kind of sneaks up on him, but he's a younger guy, and you feel like Joel should be able to overpower him. So the difference in kind of strength and fortitude between the two characters and the respective mediums is quite different. And also, they have the cutaway scene where he tells Ellie to go back into the wall, into the other side, and he kills the other guy. But I did like the fact that didn't like the fact that the guy was begging for his life, but it was very much like the game where they're pleading for their life, and they try to persuade you and beg and stuff like that. But they did a cutaway. They didn't show them necessarily killing the guy, which they don't have to. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that I want to see someone get murdered on TV, but the violence versus the show in the game are really toned down, and that's fine. But it's very interesting that they seem to make Joel a little bit of a weaker character, and they did confirm that Joel is the same age as he is in Last of Us Part 2, and there was a time jump between Part 1 and Part 2. So they've already made him a little bit older than what he is in the games, and maybe that was purposeful to have it not as violent. But one would think 20 years post outbreak that someone would be a little bit more fortitude to knowing his surroundings and stuff like that. But that it's not really a complaint. That's just more of like an observation. And then we do get like the big bad from the group with Kathleen, and she wasn't in the game. I didn't think it was really necessary, but obviously I think in TV it makes more sense to have like a big bad, in the show, as like the antagonist. So we'll see how that unfolds. Her obsession with getting to Henry didn't make a lot of sense in the context of what she was saying. Obviously, I think she had said to the doctor that he got her brother killed or killed her brother, but we didn't really get much backstory. So hopefully we get something like that in the next episode. But her character and her obsession of Henry didn't feel quite right, but maybe we'll get some more story in the next episode. But that being said, I thought, if this episode is the worst, is kind of the wrong term, but it's my least favorite so far in the series, but the series has been excellent so far. So it's kind of like, what's the worst flavor of ice cream, if that's a reference you want to use, or a metaphor or whatever. But yeah, I continue to be just blown away by this series. I love it. I'm always waiting for the next episode. Again, with this one, I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to see more. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Did you guys like this episode more than the others? I think so far my favorite is episode 3, 1, 2, and 4. I don't think I'm gonna necessarily rank them every single time, but just to kind of give a clarification of what I mean as it being my least favorite. So yeah, the series just continues to be incredible, and yeah, what HBO and Sony have done and Naughty Dog have done for the show is amazing, and I can't wait to see more. So I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you guys in the next kind of review / discussion video of Last of Us. That video will probably come out on Saturday, I would imagine, since it airs on Friday. But it really just kind of depends on when I get a chance to watch that show. It may not come until the following week. It really just depends on when I catch it. But I'll try my best to watch it Friday and give my thoughts and stuff like that. But appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.